You were taught to play fair, to be honest, to be reasonable, to give people the benefit of the doubt. And that is exactly why you keep losing. Because the world is not fair, it is not moral, and it is not waiting to reward you for your good behavior. Look at the history books. The names you remember are not the men who followed the rules. They are the men who wrote them. Rasputin understood something most men go to their graves never accepting. Fairness is a rule invented by the weak to survive the strong. If you are waiting for a referee to step in and save you, you are already dead. He did not break rules loudly. He simply played a completely different game. This is not a lesson about cruelty. Cruelty is for children. This is a lesson about reality. Fairness is comforting. It is a seductive lie. It gives people hope that effort guarantees reward, that virtue protects them from chaos, that playing by the rules will save them from the monster. But fairness only exists in one place, when power is equal. And in the real world, power is never equal. In unequal systems, fairness is a trap. It keeps you predictable. It keeps you transparent. It keeps you exposed. When you demand fairness, you are handing your destiny to someone else. You are begging them to be nice. Rasputin did not rise from a peasant in Siberia to the right hand of the Tsar because he was good. He rose because he was unfair. In a world that pretended to be moral, he was the only one honest about his hunger. A fair man announces himself before he enters the room. He explains his intentions. He signals his limits. He tells people exactly what he would never do because of his code. Listen closely. The moment you reveal your moral boundaries, you give your enemy a weapon. If they know you will never lie, they can deceive you. If they know you will never strike first, they can prepare. If they know you value mercy, they will use your mercy against you. Rasputin never clarified his ethics. Was he a monk, a sinner, a healer, a manipulator, a spy? He allowed all interpretations to coexist. He never corrected the record. Why? Because ambiguity is armor. The fair man fights to be understood. The ruthless man allows misunderstanding, because he knows that misunderstanding breeds fear, and fear is a form of respect. Most people misunderstand the word ruthless. They imagine aggression. They imagine shouting, violence, and explosive dominance. That is childish. That is not power. That is a tantrum. Rasputin was not loud. He was not impulsive. He was selective. True ruthlessness is surgical. It is not about hurting others for pleasure. It is about never sacrificing your position to preserve someone else's comfort. Rasputin listened more than he spoke. He waited. He let others reveal their cards, their fears, their desires. And then he acted once, decisively. No apology, no explanation, no looking back. That is what terrified the aristocracy. Not that he was violent, but that he could cut them out of his life without blinking. Fairness assumes symmetry. It assumes, if you do X to me, I must do X to you. If you yell, I yell. If you attack, I defend. This is a reactive trap. Ruthlessness rejects symmetry. Rasputin never matched energy. He never mirrored emotion. If attacked, he didn't retaliate immediately. He absorbed the blow. He smiled, and he stored the information. Later, at a time of his choosing, he struck, but not where they expected. He didn't strike back physically. He struck socially, psychologically, politically. He whispered a word to the empress. He removed their allies. This is asymmetric power. It feels deeply unfair to those who don't understand the game. But war is not about matching your enemy. It is about dismantling them. Morality is a luxury of peace. It collapses under survival. When resources are scarce, when status is threatened, when true fear enters the room, watch how quickly good men abandon fairness. Rasputin knew this about human nature. He saw the hypocrisy of the holy men and the royals, so he never relied on their morality. He relied on leverage. He didn't need people to like him. He needed them uncertain. He needed them dependent. Uncertainty paralyzes enemies. Clarity empowers them. That is why ruthless men avoid moral speeches. They let others argue about right and wrong in the public square, while the ruthless man moves the pieces in the dark. Every time you play fair in an unfair system, you pay a hidden tax. You hesitate when you should strike. You explain when you should command. You wait your turn when you should take the seat. And while you wait, someone less ethical passes you. Someone less talented passes you. Not because they are better, but because they are willing to do what you refuse to do. Rasputin never asked, "Is this acceptable to society?" He asked only one question: "Does this increase my position?" That question alone separates rulers from followers. If the answer was yes, he did it, regardless of the optics, regardless of the rumors. Power is never clean. Anyone who tells you otherwise has never held it. They have only studied it from a distance. Rasputin's hands were dirty, but they were steady. He understood that influence requires sacrifice. Sometimes you must sacrifice your reputation. Sometimes your innocence. Sometimes even your relationships. The fair man wants power without cost. He wants to win and still be the good guy. The ruthless man accepts the bill. He knows he will be the villain in someone else's story. And that acceptance makes him dangerous. People don't hate ruthlessness because it is evil. They hate it because it reminds them of their own cowardice. Rasputin became a mirror. He showed the Russian court what they were unwilling to be: decisive, unapologetic, unafraid of consequence. So they called him a monster. They called him the devil. Every ruthless man is labeled immoral by those who benefit from his hesitation. If they can shame you into playing fair, they can control you. Do not let them. This lesson is not external. I am not telling you to go out and harm people. I am telling you to kill the weakness inside yourself. You become ruthless the moment you stop. Stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking permission. Stop protecting other people's feelings at the expense of your own survival. That internal shift is irreversible. It is a cold feeling. Once crossed, you cannot return to playing fair. And most people never cross it. Fairness feels safe. It feels warm. Ruthlessness feels lonely. But safety has a ceiling. Power does not. Rasputin chose power, and he paid the price willingly. Most men won't. That is why they remain spectators in a game that rewards predators.